Question 1. A Scrum Master observes that multiple development teams within a large organization are consistently struggling to integrate their work at the end of each sprint, leading to significant delays in delivering a unified product increment. What is the most impactful way a Scrum Master operating at a PSM II level would address this organizational impediment? A. Facilitate daily Scrum of Scrums meetings for representatives from each development team to coordinate. B. Coach organizational leadership and management on the importance of creating a shared definition of done and fostering technical excellence across teams. C. Mandate the use of specific integration tools and technologies across all teams to ensure compatibility. D. Increase the sprint length to provide more time for integration activities at the end of the sprint. Answer: B. Coach organizational leadership and management on the importance of creating a shared definition of done and fostering technical excellence across teams. A PSM II level Scrum Master focuses on removing organizational impediments, not just team-level issues. The most impactful approach for consistent integration struggles is to address the root cause by coaching leadership on the necessity of a shared definition of done and fostering an environment that supports technical excellence, which includes continuous integration practices. This helps embed quality and integration into the development process from an organizational perspective, rather than just treating symptoms or imposing specific tools. Remember, a Scrum Master at this level influences the system to enable teams, not just the teams themselves. Question 2. An organization frequently reassigns development team members to different teams or projects mid-sprint, disrupting team stability and performance. As a PSM II Scrum Master, what is the most appropriate action to take? A. Advise the development teams to create more detailed sprint backlogs to account for potential disruptions. B. Help the teams develop robust handover processes for when members are reassigned. C. Coach management and human resources on the negative impact of unstable teams on productivity, self-management, and long-term value delivery. D. Suggest that the teams work overtime to compensate for the loss of team members. Answer: C. Coach management and human resources on the negative impact of unstable teams on productivity, self-management, and long-term value delivery. The frequent reassignment of team members is a significant organizational impediment that undermines the stability and self-management crucial for high-performing Scrum teams. A PSM II Scrum Master works to influence the wider organization by coaching stakeholders like management and human resources, explaining how such practices impede empiricism and the sustainable delivery of value. The goal is to address the systemic issue rather than merely mitigate its symptoms within the teams. Remember, your influence at the PSM II level extends far beyond the team's immediate boundaries. Question 3. During a sprint review, stakeholders express frustration that the product backlog lacks transparency regarding future features and overall product direction. How should a PSM II Scrum Master best address this concern? A. Inform the stakeholders that the product owner is solely responsible for the product backlog and its transparency. B. Coach the product owner on advanced product backlog management techniques, emphasizing forecasting and roadmap communication. C. Facilitate a meeting between stakeholders and the development team to explain the inspect and adapt nature of Agile development. D. Suggest creating a separate, detailed release plan document for stakeholders, distinct from the product backlog. Answer: B. Coach the product owner on advanced product backlog management techniques, emphasizing forecasting and roadmap communication. A PSM II Scrum Master plays a crucial role in coaching the product owner, especially in complex environments where stakeholder alignment and transparency are challenging. If stakeholders are frustrated with the lack of future visibility, the Scrum Master should help the product owner improve their communication and product backlog management to provide better forecasting and a clearer product roadmap without losing agility. This goes beyond simply defending Scrum and instead actively coaches for improved collaboration and understanding between the product owner and their stakeholders. Remember, enhancing the product owner's effectiveness is a key aspect of advanced Scrum mastery. Question 4. An organization is struggling with a culture of command and control, where decisions are pushed down from leadership, limiting the self-managing nature of Scrum teams. What is the most effective approach for a PSM II Scrum Master to foster a more self-managing environment? A. Insist that development teams disregard directives from management that contradict their sprint goals. B. Organize a series of workshops for teams on how to be self-managing without involving management. C. Coach leadership on the benefits of servant leadership, autonomy, and psychological safety, demonstrating how it leads to increased innovation and ownership. D. Implement a strict policy where all team-level decisions must be made democratically within the team without external input. Answer: C. Coach leadership on the benefits of servant leadership, autonomy, and psychological safety, demonstrating how it leads to increased innovation and ownership. A culture of command and control is a significant organizational impediment to agility and team self-management. A PSM II Scrum Master must work to influence the organizational system by coaching leadership, explaining the tangible benefits of empowering teams through servant leadership, autonomy, and psychological safety. This approach helps shift mindsets at the top, creating an environment where self-management can genuinely flourish, rather than attempting to enforce it from below or in isolation. Remember, true cultural change requires addressing the underlying leadership behaviors and beliefs. Question 5. The organization's budgeting process is still based on fixed scope, annual project funding, which clashes with the iterative and empirical nature of Scrum. As a PSM II Scrum Master, what is the best strategy to address this? A. Advocate for a money-for-nothing and change-for-free contract model with external vendors. B. Coach finance and portfolio management on concepts like value stream funding, rolling forecasts, and beyond budgeting to support adaptive planning. C. Advise Scrum teams to meticulously track all scope changes to justify additional budget requests. D. Suggest that the product owner prioritize only fixed price items to align with the current budgeting system. Answer: B. Coach finance and portfolio management on concepts like value stream funding, rolling forecasts, and beyond budgeting to support adaptive planning. Misaligned budgeting processes are a major organizational impediment that hinders agility. A PSM II Scrum Master must engage with higher-level stakeholders, such as finance and portfolio management, to educate them on alternative funding models like value stream funding or rolling forecasts that better support iterative development and adaptive planning. This involves demonstrating how these approaches lead to better value delivery and financial predictability in an agile context. Think about how you can help the organization transition from project-based thinking to product-based, continuous funding. Question 6. A Scrum Master notices that the company's performance review system focuses heavily on individual output and adherence to predefined tasks, which conflicts with the Scrum values of collaboration and self-management. How should a PSM II Scrum Master address this? A. Advise individual team members to challenge their performance reviews if they feel unfair. B. Create an alternative internal performance review system for Scrum team members. C. Coach human resources and managers on how to align performance reviews with Agile values, focusing on team contributions, learning, and outcomes rather than individual task completion. D. Encourage teams to document their collaborative efforts extensively to justify their individual performance. Answer: C. Coach human resources and managers on how to align performance reviews with Agile values, focusing on team contributions, learning, and outcomes rather than individual task completion. An organizational performance review system that conflicts with Scrum values is a significant impediment to building high-performing, self-managing teams. A PSM II Scrum Master needs to engage at the organizational level, working with human resources and management to help them understand how their current system can undermine Agile principles. The focus should be on coaching them to redesign the review process to emphasize team contributions, learning, and shared outcomes, aligning it with the collaborative spirit of Scrum. Remember, the Scrum Master acts as a change agent, influencing the broader organizational ecosystem. Question 7. A product owner is struggling to manage a large and complex product backlog that spans multiple integrated products, resulting in unclear priorities and dependencies for several Scrum teams. What is the best way for a PSM II Scrum Master to assist? A. Suggest that the product owner simply break down the product backlog into smaller, independent backlogs for each team. B. Coach the product owner on advanced techniques for product backlog refinement, dependency management, and potentially scaling product ownership through a chief product owner model or similar. C. Advise the development teams to take on more responsibility for prioritizing items within their own work. D. Recommend reducing the number of development teams working on the product to simplify coordination. Answer: B. Coach the product owner on advanced techniques for product backlog refinement, dependency management, and potentially scaling product ownership through a chief product owner model or similar. When a product owner is overwhelmed by complexity involving multiple products and teams, a PSM II Scrum Master steps in to provide advanced coaching. This involves helping the product owner with sophisticated product backlog management techniques, addressing dependencies effectively, and exploring scaling patterns for product ownership, such as a chief product owner, to ensure alignment and clear priorities across the system. The goal is to enhance the product owner's capacity to manage complexity and maintain a clear product vision for multiple teams. Remember, your coaching goes beyond basic Scrum, addressing the challenges of scale. Question 8. Organizational stakeholders frequently bypass the Scrum team and approach individual development team members directly with urgent requests, disrupting the sprint goal. How should a PSM II Scrum Master address this ongoing issue? A. Instruct the development team members to politely decline direct requests and redirect stakeholders to the product owner. B. Facilitate a meeting with the stakeholders and the product owner to clarify roles, responsibilities, and the Scrum team's single point of entry for work. C. Create a formal communication protocol document for stakeholders to follow when submitting requests. D. Shield the development team by personally intercepting all stakeholder communications. Answer: B. Facilitate a meeting with the stakeholders and the product owner to clarify roles, responsibilities, and the Scrum team's single point of entry for work. This situation indicates an organizational impediment where the Scrum framework's boundaries and roles are not fully understood or respected by stakeholders. A PSM II Scrum Master takes a proactive, educational approach by facilitating a direct dialogue between the stakeholders and the product owner to clarify roles, the purpose of the product owner as the single point of entry for work, and the importance of protecting the sprint goal. This helps educate the wider organization on how to interact effectively with Scrum teams, ensuring they understand how their actions can disrupt empiricism. Remember, addressing such issues requires organizational coaching, not just team-level shielding. Question 9. During a sprint retrospective, a development team identifies that a lack of shared technical practices and architecture across multiple teams is causing significant integration issues and increasing technical debt. What is the most appropriate next step for a PSM II Scrum Master? A. Encourage the team to solve these technical issues internally within their sprint. B. Advocate for dedicated, integration sprints to address technical debt across teams. C. Facilitate discussions with architects, technical leads, and management to promote communities of practice, shared architectural principles, and cross-team technical alignment. D. Advise the product owner to deprioritize features that require complex integration. Answer: C. Facilitate discussions with architects, technical leads, and management to promote communities of practice, shared architectural principles, and cross-team technical alignment. A lack of shared technical practices and architecture across teams is an organizational impediment that leads to systemic technical debt and integration problems. A PSM II Scrum Master addresses this by engaging with the broader technical leadership and management, not just the single team. The aim is to foster a culture of technical excellence across the organization by promoting initiatives like communities of practice, establishing shared architectural guidelines, and encouraging cross-team technical alignment to ensure a coherent and maintainable product. This demonstrates the Scrum Master's role in influencing the wider technical ecosystem. Question 10. Management is considering introducing a new project gate process that requires detailed upfront documentation and approval at several stages before a project can even begin, which contradicts Agile principles. How should a PSM II Scrum Master respond? A. Inform management that this process is not compatible with Scrum and refuse to participate. B. Work with Scrum teams to prepare all the necessary documentation to satisfy the new process. C. Coach management on the benefits of iterative development, empirical process control, and adaptive planning, demonstrating how rigid gate processes hinder value delivery and learning. D. Suggest that the organization adopt a hybrid approach, using the new process for some projects and Scrum for others. Answer. C. Coach management on the benefits of iterative development, empirical process control, and adaptive planning, demonstrating how rigid gate processes hinder value delivery and learning. The introduction of rigid, project gate, processes represents a significant organizational impediment that directly conflicts with the empirical and adaptive nature of Scrum. A PSM II Scrum Master's role is to act as a change agent, coaching management on the principles of Agile development and how traditional gate processes can impede learning, flexibility, and value delivery. The Scrum Master should articulate the benefits of iterative approaches, offering alternatives that align with Agile principles while still providing necessary oversight. Your influence is critical in helping the organization shift its mindset from predictive to empirical planning. Question 11. An organization has grown, and now several Scrum teams are working on the same product, but they operate largely in silos, duplicating effort and creating integration nightmares. What is the best strategy for a PSM II Scrum Master to address this? A. Mandate that all teams use the same sprint goal to enforce alignment. B. Coach the product owner and teams on effective scaling frameworks, e.g., Nexus, Less, Scrum at Scale, that promote alignment and shared accountability for a single product increment. C. Suggest that each team focuses on a completely separate component of the product to avoid dependencies. D. Encourage more frequent individual status reporting to management to track potential duplication. Answer. B. Coach the product owner and teams on effective scaling frameworks, e.g., Nexus, Less, Scrum at Scale, that promote alignment and shared accountability for a single product increment. When multiple Scrum teams work on a single product but operate in silos, it's a clear sign of a scaling challenge and an organizational impediment to coherent product development. A PSM II Scrum Master should coach the product owner and teams on the principles and practices of various scaling frameworks, helping them understand how to align efforts, manage dependencies, and collaborate to deliver a single, integrated product increment. This goes beyond team-level coaching to address the systemic issues of how multiple teams can effectively work together on a complex product. Your role is to help the organization adopt appropriate strategies for large-scale Scrum. Question 12. Scrum teams in an organization often struggle with external dependencies on departments that do not follow Agile practices, leading to delays and frustration. How should a PSM II Scrum Master tackle this? A. Advise the Scrum teams to create detailed service-level agreements with the external departments. B. Offer to personally manage all communication and coordination with the external departments. C. Coach the external department's leadership on the benefits of Agile principles and practices, seeking to align their processes or improve collaboration interfaces. D. Escalate every dependency issue directly to the highest level of management for resolution. Answer. C. Coach the external department's leadership on the benefits of Agile principles and practices, seeking to align their processes or improve collaboration interfaces. External dependencies on non-Agile departments are common organizational impediments. A PSM II Scrum Master addresses this by engaging with the leadership of those external departments, coaching them on the benefits of Agile principles and exploring ways to improve the collaboration interfaces or even align their processes. The goal is to reduce friction at the organizational boundaries, promoting a smoother flow of value across the entire system rather than simply trying to manage the symptoms within the Scrum teams. Think of yourself as a bridge builder, helping different parts of the organization work more cohesively. Question 13. During a sprint review, a key stakeholder questions the value delivered by the latest increment, indicating a lack of understanding of the product goal and the strategic roadmap. What is the most effective intervention for a PSM II Scrum Master? A. Defend the increment and explain the team's efforts in detail to the stakeholder. B. Facilitate a workshop with the product owner and key stakeholders to realign on the product goal and its connection to organizational strategy. C. Suggest that the product owner create more detailed release notes for each increment. D. Advise the development team to implement only features explicitly requested by this particular stakeholder in the future. Answer: B. Facilitate a workshop with the product owner and key stakeholders to realign on the product goal and its connection to organizational strategy. A stakeholder's questioning of value delivered, coupled with a lack of understanding of the product goal, points to a broader organizational alignment issue. A PSM II Scrum Master acts as a facilitator and coach at this higher level, orchestrating a session involving the product owner and key stakeholders to collaboratively realign on the product goal and its strategic context. This ensures everyone understands the product's direction and how each increment contributes to the overall vision, enhancing transparency and shared understanding across the organization. Your role is to foster alignment beyond the team. Question 14. An organization's physical workspace is highly compartmentalized, hindering communication and collaboration between Scrum teams working on related products. How should a PSM II Scrum Master address this organizational impediment? A. Advocate for a completely remote work policy to eliminate the need for physical proximity. B. Suggest using more online collaboration tools to overcome physical barriers. C. Coach management and facilities on the benefits of open, collaborative workspaces and cross-team co-location to enhance communication and flow. D. Organize frequent social events to encourage informal interactions between teams. Answer: C. Coach management and facilities on the benefits of open, collaborative workspaces and cross-team co-location to enhance communication and flow. A compartmentalized physical workspace is a tangible organizational impediment that directly hinders the informal communication and collaboration vital for effective Scrum, especially when multiple teams are involved. A PSM II Scrum Master needs to influence beyond the team by coaching management and facilities, highlighting how a physical environment that supports co-location and open collaboration can significantly improve information flow, reduce delays, and foster a stronger sense of shared purpose. Think about how the environment itself can be an enabler or blocker for Agile practices. Question 15. The organization's legal or compliance department has rigid processes that cause significant delays in releasing the product increment, even after it is done by the development team. What is the most effective action for a PSM II Scrum Master? A. Advise the development team to finish their work earlier in the sprint to account for legal/compliance delays. B. Coach the legal/compliance department on the principles of flow, lean, and continuous delivery, exploring ways to integrate their processes earlier and more frequently into the development lifecycle. C. Suggest that the product owner only release features that have low legal/compliance risk. D. Document all delays caused by legal/compliance and present them to senior management as a bottleneck. Answer: B. Coach the legal/compliance department on the principles of flow, lean, and continuous delivery, exploring ways to integrate their processes earlier and more frequently into the development lifecycle. Rigid legal or compliance processes acting as release bottlenecks are a common organizational impediment. A PSM II Scrum Master addresses this by engaging directly with the leadership of these departments, coaching them on how Agile principles like flow and continuous delivery can benefit their own work and the overall organization. The goal is to integrate these necessary processes earlier and more frequently into the development lifecycle, potentially automating parts, rather than having them as a late-stage gate, ensuring a smoother and faster flow of value to users. You are facilitating organizational learning and process improvement across departmental lines. Question 16. A product owner is consistently struggling to say no to stakeholders, leading to an overloaded product backlog and difficulty for the development team to focus on the sprint goal. How should a PSM II Scrum Master intervene? A. Take on the responsibility of saying no to stakeholders on behalf of the product owner. B. Coach the product owner on stakeholder management, prioritization techniques, and the importance of a clear product goal to maintain focus and manage expectations effectively. C. Encourage the development team to manage stakeholder expectations directly during sprint reviews. D. Suggest that the product owner ask for more development team members to handle the workload. Answer. B. Coach the product owner on stakeholder management, prioritization techniques, and the importance of a clear product goal to maintain focus and manage expectations effectively. A product owner's inability to say no or manage stakeholder expectations effectively can lead to an unmanageable product backlog and a lack of focus for the Scrum team. A PSM II Scrum Master provides targeted coaching to the product owner, equipping them with advanced stakeholder management skills, various prioritization techniques, and reinforcing the critical role of a clear product goal as a guiding star. This empowers the product owner to effectively navigate demands and protect the team's focus, ultimately improving the team's ability to deliver value. Your role is to elevate the product owner's capability and influence. Question 17. The organization's internal IT department has a lengthy procurement process for new software and hardware, causing significant delays for Scrum teams attempting to adopt new tools or technologies. How should a PSM II Scrum Master address this? A. Advise Scrum teams to use only existing approved tools, even if suboptimal. B. Personally expedite procurement requests by directly lobbying the IT department. C. Coach the IT department's leadership on how their processes impact Agile teams' ability to learn and adapt, proposing more Agile procurement models or self-service options. D. Suggest that Scrum teams budget for new tools and technologies well in advance to account for delays. Answer. C. Coach the IT department's leadership on how their processes impact Agile teams' ability to learn and adapt, proposing more Agile procurement models or self-service options. A lengthy procurement process within an internal IT department is a common organizational impediment that directly hinders Scrum teams' ability to adapt and innovate. A PSM II Scrum Master should engage with the IT department's leadership, educating them on the impact of their processes on Agile teams' responsiveness. The aim is to collaborate on establishing more Agile procurement models, such as self-service portals for approved tools or faster approval workflows, to enable teams to get the resources they need quickly. Your influence helps streamline organizational support for Agile teams. Question 18. Scrum teams in an organization are experiencing frequent, disruptive context switching due to individuals being assigned to multiple projects or teams simultaneously. As a PSM II Scrum Master, what is the most effective approach to mitigate this? A. Encourage individuals to improve their personal time management and multitasking skills. B. Advocate for dedicated, cross-functional teams with stable membership to organizational leadership and resource managers. C. Suggest that teams only pull work into the sprint that is guaranteed to have minimal external dependencies. D. Implement a strict, no meetings policy during core development hours for team members. Answer. B. Advocate for dedicated, cross-functional teams with stable membership to organizational leadership and resource managers. Frequent context switching due to individuals being assigned to multiple projects or teams is a severe organizational impediment that significantly reduces efficiency and team cohesion. A PSM II Scrum Master addresses this by influencing organizational resource allocation policies. This involves coaching leadership and resource managers on the benefits of stable, dedicated, cross-functional teams and explaining how shared resources undermine focus, flow, and the long-term effectiveness of Scrum. Your goal is to help the organization understand the economic impact of context switching and promote policies that support team stability. Question 19. A Scrum team frequently misses its sprint goal because it takes too long to get feedback from external subject matter experts, SMEs, who are typically bottlenecked and unresponsive. What is the most impactful way a PSM II Scrum Master would address this? A. Encourage the development team to make assumptions if SME feedback is delayed, to keep the sprint moving. B. Coach the SME's managers on the importance of timely feedback for empirical process control and explore ways to integrate SMEs more closely or frequently with the Scrum teams. C. Advise the product owner to only select product backlog items that do not require external SME input. D. Schedule mandatory daily meetings with the SMEs to force their responsiveness. Answer. B. Coach the SME's managers on the importance of timely feedback for empirical process control and explore ways to integrate SMEs more closely or frequently with the Scrum teams. Bottlenecked external SMEs causing delays is an organizational impediment to flow and empiricism. A PSM II Scrum Master must address this by engaging with the managers of these SMEs. The aim is to coach them on the critical role of timely feedback for Agile development and to explore solutions that integrate the SMEs more effectively into the Scrum process, perhaps through dedicated time or embedding them within teams. This proactive engagement helps remove systemic blockers and improves the overall responsiveness of the organization. Your role is to improve the flow of information and collaboration across functional boundaries. Question 20. The organizational culture strongly prioritizes individual heroics and overwork, leading to burnout among Scrum team members and an unsustainable pace. How should a PSM II Scrum Master address this? A. Advise individual team members to set stricter boundaries and refuse overtime. B. Introduce wellness days for Scrum teams to de-stress and recover. C. Coach organizational leadership on the importance of sustainable pace, psychological safety, and fostering a culture of continuous improvement rather than reliance on individual heroics. D. Suggest that teams use more advanced capacity planning tools to accurately estimate work. Answer. C. Coach organizational leadership on the importance of sustainable pace, psychological safety, and fostering a culture of continuous improvement rather than reliance on individual heroics. A culture that encourages individual heroics and overwork is a significant organizational impediment to long-term sustainability, psychological safety, and quality. A PSM II Scrum Master must influence the organizational culture itself by coaching leadership. This involves explaining the detrimental effects of unsustainable pace and advocating for a shift towards continuous improvement, sustainable practices, and psychological safety, which ultimately leads to better quality and happier, more productive teams. You are helping to reshape the very values and norms of the organization. Question 21. Scrum teams in an organization struggle to deliver fully done increments because the definition of done, DOD, requires sign-offs from various external departments, e.g., security, legal, that are not part of the Scrum teams and have their own lengthy processes. How should a PSM II Scrum Master address this? A. Encourage the development teams to continue working on new features while waiting for external sign-offs. B. Facilitate discussions with the leadership of the external departments to help them understand the implications of their processes on the done increment and explore ways to integrate their expertise earlier. C. Advocate for a simpler definition of done that excludes external sign-offs to accelerate delivery. D. Suggest that the product owner accept a mostly done increment at the sprint review. Answer. B. Facilitate discussions with the leadership of the external departments to help them understand the implications of their processes on the done increment and explore ways to integrate their expertise earlier. When external sign-offs prevent an increment from being truly done, it indicates an organizational impediment to the flow of value and the Scrum team's ability to deliver. A PSM II Scrum Master addresses this by engaging with the leadership of these external departments. The goal is to coach them on the importance of the definition of done and to explore how their processes can be integrated earlier in the sprint, or even shifted left, to ensure that the increment is truly releasable by the end of the sprint. This is about influencing the broader organizational workflow to support empirical process control. Question 22. Multiple product owners in a large product organization struggle to align their product backlogs and avoid redundant work across different product lines, despite working with the same customer segment. What is the most effective approach for a PSM II Scrum Master? A. Suggest that each product owner prioritize their own product backlog independently, as it is their domain. B. Facilitate the establishment of a product owner community of practice, encouraging shared goals, cross-product backlog refinement, and alignment on overarching product strategies. C. Advise creating formal, detailed interface specifications between their respective products. D. Recommend that one product owner take over all product lines to centralize decision-making. Answer. B. Facilitate the establishment of a product owner community of practice, encouraging shared goals, cross-product backlog refinement, and alignment on overarching product strategies. When multiple product owners struggle with alignment and redundancy across product lines, it's an organizational scaling challenge. A PSM II Scrum Master should facilitate the creation of a product owner community of practice. This fosters collaboration among product owners, enabling them to share insights, align on shared goals, refine interdependent product backlogs, and develop a coherent overarching product strategy. This empowers them to collectively address the complexities of managing multiple product lines, ensuring greater organizational synergy. Your role is to foster collaboration and alignment across the product landscape. Question 23. An organization's internal training department primarily offers traditional project management courses, with limited understanding or support for Agile methodologies, hindering the growth and development of Agile practitioners. How should a PSM II Scrum Master address this? A. Advise Scrum team members to seek external training and certification at their own expense. B. Take over the responsibility for internal Agile training and development for all teams. C. Coach the training department's leadership on Agile learning principles, advocating for relevant course development, and potentially co-creating a learning roadmap for Agile roles. D. Suggest that Scrum teams learn Agile practices purely through self-study and experience. Answer. C. Coach the training department's leadership on Agile learning principles, advocating for relevant course development, and potentially co-creating a learning roadmap for Agile roles. An internal training department that is misaligned with Agile principles is an organizational impediment to continuous learning and Agile adoption. A PSM II Scrum Master should engage directly with the training department's leadership, coaching them on Agile learning principles and demonstrating the need for relevant Agile course development. This involves advocating for changes to their curriculum and potentially collaborating on a learning roadmap that supports the growth of Agile practitioners across the organization. Your influence helps shape the organizational learning ecosystem to better support agility. Question 24. Despite having multiple Scrum teams, the organization measures success primarily through individual performance metrics rather than team-based or product-level outcomes. How should a PSM II Scrum Master address this? A. Advocate for teams to stop reporting individual contributions. B. Help the organization shift its focus by coaching management on the benefits of outcome-based metrics, value delivery, and team-level accountability for overall product success. C. Suggest that teams internally track and share only team-level metrics, ignoring organizational mandates. D. Develop a complex matrix of individual and team metrics to satisfy both current and desired approaches. Answer. B. Help the organization shift its focus by coaching management on the benefits of outcome-based metrics, value delivery, and team-level accountability for overall product success. An organizational focus on individual performance metrics rather than team or product outcomes is a significant impediment to fostering true team collaboration and empirical management. A PSM II Scrum Master addresses this by coaching management on the limitations of individual metrics in an Agile context. The goal is to help them understand and adopt outcome-based metrics that reflect value delivery, continuous improvement, and the collective success of Scrum teams and the product as a whole. This shifts the organizational focus from individual tasks to shared value creation. Question 25. An organization has a deeply ingrained, blame culture, where mistakes are met with punishment, leading to a fear of failure and inhibiting experimentation and learning within Scrum teams. What is the most critical action for a PSM II Scrum Master to take? A. Advise Scrum teams to hide their mistakes from management to avoid punishment. B. Implement a no-blame policy within the immediate Scrum teams. C. Coach organizational leadership on the importance of psychological safety, a culture of transparency, and viewing failures as learning opportunities for continuous improvement. D. Organize a series of team-building exercises to improve trust within individual teams. Answer: C. Coach organizational leadership on the importance of psychological safety, a culture of transparency, and viewing failures as learning opportunities for continuous improvement. A blame culture is a fundamental organizational impediment that stifles empiricism, transparency, and the continuous learning essential for Agile success. A PSM II Scrum Master must address this at the highest level by coaching organizational leadership on the critical importance of psychological safety. The goal is to help leaders understand that mistakes are inevitable in complex work and that fostering an environment where failures are seen as learning opportunities, not reasons for punishment, unlocks innovation and continuous improvement across the entire organization. Your role is to cultivate a learning culture at the organizational level.